guys, welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. But before I get into it though, I'd like to remind you guys to like the video and comment something and share it. And be sure to enjoy from wherever it is that you're watching and to stay safe. So the last time we we was the last time we ran into into Lilly and at the library, and we decided to accompany her to go shopping for Hanako for a birthday present. Not wanting for her to go alone into the big city, we decided to accompany her. Although, then we ran into Akira and Hideki, whose name I don't know how to pronounce. I see you've met my sister then. Perhaps my full name might help you. I am Hideki Hakama Ichi. You're probably thinking of my sister Shizune. Oh, so she's Shizune's brother. Wait a minute. If Hideki is the son of Akira's uncle and Shizune is his sister, then that means Lilly and Shizune are father and brothers-in-law. Therefore, Lilly and Shizune are first cousins? Lilly groans in an uncharacteristically unrestrained manner. The reaction earns an amused smirk from her sister. The enmity between the two just took another meaning. I had thought they were simply a matter of difficulty communication between the two, but a family feud makes things much more complicated and interesting. You can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. She gives a half-hearted shrug. She mustn't give as much weight to the two's conflict as I do. Well, that's how it is. What are you up to anyway, on this fine day? We're shopping for Hanako's birthday present. The day will be coming up soon, so this is the last chance we'll have before school starts again for the week. Akira makes a strange face, as if Lilly had just said the sky wasn't blue and the clouds not white. Is her birthday on the 10th next month? Yes? Why? Is something wrong? Akira's face seems to collapse. It's utterly unbefitting expression for somebody so rowdy and headstrong. The folks didn't call you yet? As Lilly shakes her head cluelessly, I look at Hideki to see if he knows anything about it, as this simple shrug is his only answer. For a moment, Akira ponders what to do before smiling once again. The fact that she can hide her emotions so quickly and effectively is unsettling. Hey shorty, sorry, but could you hang with Hisao for a while? He nods and waves her off, Akira placing an arm on Lily's shoulder as he guides her away out of earshot. And so, I'm alone with Shorty. So, nice weather, isn't it? It seems so. I guess they dumped us. Indeed. What a farcy attempt at small talk. I have no idea how to talk to this guy, and his robotic responses aren't helping. Blood and stone come to mind. Without another word, he begins to rock his feet, in an obvious gesture of boredom with his discussion. He really is a little kid, despite his serious demeanor. Suspecting the conversation over, I decide to accomplish what I came here to do in the first place. I'm going to go search for a present. Coming? Not much else to do. In a little while, we come to a small shop beside a convenience store. For once, the store windows aren't filled with electronics and computer games, but dolls and stuffed bears, all manner of wood-crafted oddities. Othello's Antiques? An antique store? Well, if there's anything in this town that'd suit Hanako, I guess it'd be here. I reached for the old-looking door handle and pulled back at the same last minute as I realized my companion's gone adrift. Not coming in? I'll just be at the newsstand for a while. Don't mind me. His voice is painfully clear that he has zero interest in what's in the store, and that he doesn't feel obligated to follow me. As he wanders off without another word, I push the thick wooden door and enter a store bell above me ringing out. The musty smell of old books and wooden shelves is distinctly anachronistic, I think. I took the counter. I look to the counter beside the door. The graying man behind it sits there silently, reading a tattered book. He certainly fits the look of this place. Slowly wandering through the aisles, the person I'm reminded of as I inspect each handcrafted or imported oddity isn't Hanako. Crouching down, I examine the ancient oak desk inside the shop window. At least 30 dolls, all varying wildly in size and make. The only similarity between them is the long Victorian dresses they wear. I turn the price tag of one that looks to be about waist height. It's not in my price bracket at all. I do the same to each of them, getting more and more depressed as they get smaller and smaller in size. That is until I reach the very smallest one. It's affordable, just yet of quality make and long auburn hair and a little blue dress. I decide that it's the kind of present Hanako would appreciate, pretty looking and far from gaudy. After I carefully pick it up and decide to keep looking around the store, I'm not sure whether it's because I like the atmosphere out of simple curiosity. Peeking around the corner before I go to the next aisle, I see that in the shelves in this one are stocked with wooden toys. From toy cars, intricate automatons. Nerd. Tucked behind a line of nutcrackers, I notice a little plain wooden box. It feels surprisingly light as I pick it up with my free hand. The lid only needs the smallest movement to pop open. The little metal drum inside beginning to rotate immediately. For seconds on end, I simply stand there listening to the palm-sized melody. As it plays, I take a tiny price tag in my fingers and bring it up to my face. The minuscule cursive and writing taking some effort to read. It's affordable, sort of. Grimacing slightly, I close the lid and make my way to the counter with the doll and the music box in hand. When I lay the two on the counter, the man behind me sits up and takes stock of them. He doesn't hide very well his surprise at someone my age buying them. It's painful, but I hand over the money for the two and leave the store with a small opaque bag in hand. Hideki being there takes me by surprise. Oh, hi, I thought you'd be at the newsstand. Akira gave me a call. She's waiting for us at the fountain with Lilly. At least that solves the issue trying to find them again. We head back to the fountain. Hideki's immaculate posture and presentation despite his appearance makes for a strange contrast even as we walk. Lilly and Akira had been waiting for us. Their faces hard to read. Hey, you ready to go, shorty? Hideki's mood seems to improve as he rejoins her. See ya, Lilly, he saw. To Hanako I say happy birthday. We will. Bye. Goodbye, Akira. And with that, the two disappear in the fracas of the afternoon city crowd. Turning to Lilly, I notice she's carrying a small bag. It's now that I realize why her disposition felt so different from before. While Lilly is typically the type to wear her emotions on her sleeve, her expression and tone are clouded and difficult to read. It's even more than a little off-putting, but given the effort she's making to hide her emotions, I doubt she wants to be cornered on why she's feeling this way. Already bought Hanako a present? Yes, have you? Yeah. Shall we head back to the bus stop then? Okay, there should be a bus back to Yamaku pretty soon. And then, with that, we begin to walk. It feels strange compared to before. Lily's hand on my forearm feels unusually tense, and the whole atmosphere is extraordinarily awkward. The silence continues for a long while. I really don't like seeing her like this. Hanako's birthday party is gonna have to be held earlier. Is the 4th going to be all right for you? I have no other possible obligations anyway, so I reflexively nod. Only afterwards do I remember that not doing so is pointless, and quickly answer so by speech. She tries to collect herself, a task that looks almost pitiable in how plain to see how distant her thoughts are. Sorry, Hisao, you said the bus will be coming soon, right? That's right. But now she says that I have an idea. Actually, do you have anything to do later today? I don't believe so. Why do you ask? This is the point where I'd normally take her and rush you somewhere, but even without that, you'll have to trust me, okay? I take her hand and gently lead her on, her distant face replaced by one of mild surprise and curiosity. My boy taking her out to a cafe. As the waitress sets the cup of tea and cup of coffee that I'd ordered onto the table, I thank her before she takes her leave. Truth be told, I really lucked out in finding this cafe. I didn't really know where I was going, rather I was just looking for any cafe that looked relatively nice. Having managed to recover a little, Lily tentatively sips her cup as I take a long gulp of coffee in front of me. As I hoped, her face lights up when she realizes what flavor it is. Ah, this is wonderful. Hisao, how did you know that this was? I'd asked her French vanilla black tea, hedging my bets that it would be her favorite flavor, or at least one she liked. While I don't really know much about tea, it sounded like one she might appreciate. On the basis of her liking vanilla ice cream, a tea connoisseur I am definitely not. It was a lucky guess. You really like tea, don't you? She puts her teacup down and gives a tiny nod. That familiar small smile thankfully perched on her face once again. Drinking tea is calming, I think. With the amount of you drink, are you saying you're not addicted to it? Caffeine addiction's pretty common nowadays. Did I ever say I wasn't? She lets out a giggle as my head drops. We all have our vices, I suppose, and there are worse things to be addicted to. French vanilla black tea. Huh? I'll have to remember that. For a while we both silently drink. It's comforting to have someone like her nearby in such surroundings, even if it's just the two of us sitting in silence. I begin to wonder if this feeling is the same for her until she sets her own cup. Hisao, do you mind if I ask you a slightly odd question? That depends on the question, I guess. I was wondering what your favorite color is. Everyone has one after all. I almost replied before realizing why the seemingly mundane question is actually quite strange. My favorite color, but... She gives a pouting look, wanting me to answer anyway, while the answer seems unavoidably wasted on her. There's no harm in giving it. I've always had a thing for green. I'd say it's my favorite. Green? Is it? What do you think? What things do you think when contemplating that color? I suppose grass, fields, trees in summer, the army as well with camouflage. Men always seem to like the military, but that sounds like a nice color. A very nice color. She nods her head a little, as if approving the choice, considering how foreign the concept of color is to her mind. Labeling it an association, it seems reasonable enough. If everyone has a favorite color, then what's yours? White. I'm told that's the color of snow and ice cream. You're no better than me then if you're like that color because of favorite food. I guess it's white and nice too though. And speaking of colors, it'll be getting dark soon. Let me help you up. Lilly offers her hand, which I take in mine to help level her up from her seat and the table. Its softness compared to mine takes me off guard, as I'm really not used to such casual contact. It doesn't seem to bother her at all, though. While it seems obvious why, it feels like just one ladylike aspect to her. As her hand moves to her pocket, I quickly cut her off. Don't worry, I'll pay for this. Oh, thank you, Hisao. She gives an earnest smile, as the gesture's reward are much greater than that of her words. By the time we step off the bus, it's well and truly dark. We make our way to the top of the way up to the hill in silence, both of us behaving a little awkwardly, probably because of the day's events. While I'm concerned over Lily's withdrawn nature after meeting with her sister, the fact I managed to cheer her up even slightly feels like a personal victory. But it feels like the air between us has changed. Maybe it's only a bit, but it's something I don't think either of us has realized before. That was a date, wasn't it? It was. That doesn't elude either of us. The question's answer being so self-evident that it had to be rhetorical. Awkward as it may be, I don't think this feeling is bad. In fact, quite the opposite. I don't know what it is. I clearly can't be sure, but it feels like something a little more than friendship. Understanding, empathy, searching for words adequately describe it is difficult nonetheless. Would you like to do this again sometime, Lily? Without shopping for presents? The tentative question is met with the same look from Lily as before. Her pale skin makes the rosy tint of her cheeks slightly more noticeable, and her face, though still pointed to the street ahead of her, lowers just a little. Okay. Hey, my boy. A brief, muffled exchange of words can be heard from the other side. Listening closer, I can just pick up Hanako's and Lily's voices. As they finish, Lily calls out, "Might that be Hisao?" "Yep, I got the note you left me." "You can come in, the door's unlocked." Glad that I managed to get the right room. I press down the handle and let myself in. As the door swings open, my greeting of them is stolen from my mouth. Lily sits in a low table at the center of the room in her pajamas, while at the other side sits Hanako in a nightgown. Being dressed in only my normal school clothes, I feel quite out of place. I steal a quick glance at the lovely sight of the two, my eyes tearing themselves from Lily's long, thin, pale legs only with a measure of reluctance. "Hi. I think I bought everything that was needed." She smiles and nods. I wonder if she's even aware of the pleasant sigh she makes. The thin, dark blue silk of her pajamas really suits her, accentuating both her eyes and her curves. The look look of her last night, the tentative and almost shy demeanor seems all but replaced by her coy nature. It's nice to see her confidence returned, though I can't help but casting my mind back to how she looked back then. I look to Hanako, who nervously sits opposite of her in her gown. It isn't surprised that she wore something so conservative, though it definitely looks cute. Hi, Hanako. Happy birthday. Ah, thank you. She's unusually skittish, despite the fact that she's warmed up to me considerably. Over the weeks we've come to know each other. This is a pretty unusual situation, I guess. Feel free to take a seat, Hisao. I'll pour you some tea. Sure thing. Lilly takes the steaming red pot from the table and gently pours its contents onto our teacups as I take the seat beside them, setting my bag against the nearby wall. With my senses returned and hormones somewhat calmer, I think that is the first time I've ever been in. I think that this is the first time I've ever been in Lily's room. The first thing I notice is the ambient smell. It's just slightly different from that in mine. Probably faint perfume or nail polish. Could be anything of a girl's, really. Another is the plain nature of the room. Visually, beige walls and a smart yet unadorned cabinet. The lack of posters or wall hangings. It's distinctly utilitarian. Something I should have anticipated given her blindness. Only thing that really seems out of ordinary besides several piles of books sitting on the floor, each reaching from roughly knee height to waist height. Some of them have printed titles, others are entirely blank except for dots of braille. The fact that the ones printed titles are uniformly in English is interesting, though not completely unexpected. She did mention her parents impressing the language upon her and Akira after all. Your room looks nice, Lily. I hear a call from things from beside my shoulder. Looking back to Hanako, her gaze is fixed on her lap and her hands nervously clutching her gown. It's now that I notice why, with those clothes on the extent of her scarring is far more visible. Reaching down for her neck and out at the cover her right shoulder. Considering this party's for her, she doesn't really look like she's enjoying the experience now that I'm here. So how old are you turning? 18? Her look of surprise not at all helped by her total lack of skill at hiding her feelings. Shows that she was trying to mentally tune me out. This is really quite awkward. Yes. On the plus side, there's only 2 more years till you can drink, so who's older, you or Lily? Lily, she had her birthday in February. What about yours? Earlier this year, so it's already passed. Unstated is it that it passed while I was stuck in the hospital. That was a particularly low point of the experience. Conversation with her dries up as quickly as expected. It isn't long before Lily's finished pouring our drinks, setting down the 3 teacups in front of us. I pick mine up, immediately noticing a much stronger aroma and taste than the tea we've been having. Huh? It tastes different than the tea we have at school. It's different variety. Rather than the kind we've been having there. You've never tasted orange jaipur before? Not that I remember. I usually drink coffee after all, like when we were in town. This is nice though. As we settle down and sip, Hanako seems to become more relaxed, or at least a bit less tense about my presence. We all finish our cups about the same time. Hanako failing rather badly at hiding her anticipation for the cake that's sitting to the side begging to be eaten. Come to think of it, I'm feeling very eager myself. First things first, though. Lilly? Yes, now is good. Each of us knowing exactly what the other means. I lean sideways and dig around in my bag for the doll I bought Hanako as Lilly gets up and retrieves her gift. Hiding our gifts in our hands, we present them both on the table at the same time. Happy birthday! Hanako silently sits looking at them seconds out of sheer surprise. My little wooden doll, replete with a Victorian-era dress and a little hat, lies next to a light brown and fluffy stuffed bear from Lilly. She clutches her gown and moves to speak, and I'll take her eyes with a modest presence. Thank you, Lilly and Isao. Her voice begins to crack as Lilly reaches forward, wrapping her in a soft embrace. The sight of Hanako and Lilly so tightly is heartwarming, so much that I couldn't wipe the smile off my face even if I wanted to. As Lilly rests her face on Hanako's head, she speaks so quietly and softly that I can hardly hear. Happy birthday, Hanako. Happy birthday. Hanako gives a small nod, holding on to Lilly for a time before breaking off and wiping an eye. I guess that for Hanako, simply having someone, anyone, to be there and love her would be special. The fact that Lilly and I can now share that role for her is something I think I will always be grateful for. Hanako gently takes the doll and teddy bear, holding them both to her chest as she warmly smiles. For a long time, all three of us simply sit in happy silence. The quiet is not broken until Lilly's soft voice beckons. Shall we have at the cake, then? Her proposal is met with two looks of unhidden anticipation. No argument from me. Okay. Phew, that was good. I contentedly sit back, both Lilly and Hanako looking just as satisfied with the food as I. It took some effort, but we managed to finish the cake in one go. I don't think I can fit any more in. I think the next time I'll buy a smaller cake. Hanako and I give a chuckle, but I can't help noticing that someone in this time next year will have graduated from Yamaku. The fact is somewhat depressing, since I finally feel life is starting to get into some kind of order. Oddly looking around Lilly's neat and orderly room, her books catch my eye once again. This may be a little ineptituous, but my curiosity gets the better of me. Besides, I don't think she'll mind in any case. Hey Lilly, do you mind if I take a look at one of your books? You're quite welcome to, Hisao. That said, if you can overcome 2 language barriers, I will be quite impressed. Two? Burl and, oh right, English. She gives a nod. I knew you were studying English, but I'm still amazed that you're this proficient at it. One could say it's a perfect way to avoid people borrowing my collection. She says it in jest, but I am a little disappointed. Having all of these books around me, with no way of reading them, feels like one big tease. Hanako giggles quietly as I reach over the pile, plucking the topmost book with only a cursory glance. Death to Nile, in large on the Nile, in large letters on the cover is the only printed text to be seen. I sit down for a while with the book open on my lap as Lilly and Hanako talk. Try as I might, I feel out the dots of braille printed on each page. They seem to blend into one another and become indistinct. I thought this to be a lot easier than it actually is. With some practice, though, I could see someone with a better sense of touch than mine managing to read at pretty fast speed. Noticing the silence had probably begun earlier, I look up to the dotted pages from the dotted pages to see as Hanako sips another cup of tea. Is something wrong? Quite the opposite. Your curiosity is quite endearing. And with that being said, that's all the time that we have for now. But before I cut things off though, I'd like to remind you guys to like the video, comment on it, and be sure to share it to help promote us in the YouTube algorithm. And also make sure to follow my socials. You can find them in the description below, just like everything else. And join the Discord server. It's completely free and we're steadily growing. With that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.